She has an allergy. It's not just Limium. She's allergic to Fitz. Hi, I'm Jaycie. Welcome to the Forbidden Cities, a Keeper of the Lost Cities podcast. A podcast where Sydney and I talk about Keeper of the Lost Cities books, theories, characters, ships, and more. Hi, guys.
We're here.
That was so funny.
My high voice.
Hi, guys.
That's characteristic of me, though.
Hello.
Hello.
It is 2 a.m. and we are in
Almost
Jaycie's
2:30.
room. Yeah, almost 2:30. We are in Jaycie's room after reading all day and then recording for the past few hours. So we're a little. This is gonna be interesting.
This will be fun. You'll get to see my alternate mood, which is like the crazy side of me. So it's gonna be fun.
And I'm getting tired, but I'll probably hit a point where I'm gonna be like really hyper.
Yeah, because we're talking about Keeper of the Lost Cities, so like.
Yes.
Okay, so, and also, if the past few episodes have seemed quieter, it's not going to be like this forever, hopefully. We're just using one microphone instead of two, so I'll try to boost the volume in editing, but we'll see how that goes.
We've had a couple crazy weeks, and so today just seemed better to record at Jaycie's so that we could have enough time, and seeing as it's 2 a.m.
And we wouldn't be able to do this if we recorded at, like, the building that we usually do. So... we are doing an episode on book 1. This is probably going to be, episode 12? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because 11 was the interview. So this is going to be episode 12, Keeper of the Lost Cities, book 1.
If you hear me crunching, I'm eating peppermint to stay awake.
She's eating a candy cane. Yeah, so this is going to be kind of like our Unlocked episode, but with a different book. It's going to be with book 1. And our goal is to go through the whole series.
Yes. And this is actually our first episode that we're going to be able to say... There is a no spoiler section.
Yes, so we're not spoiling anything except for book 1, obviously, because this whole book's about it.
In this case,
we'll do that.
This
we'll wait until
at the end.
We'll wait until we get to the spoiler section.
Okay.
Yeah. If you stay till the spoiler section, because we have a very important thing about remember that Livy and Elwyn question that we had?
Yes.
We had another answer to it, and so I'm very excited about sharing that. It's my friend. Anyway, so we will get to that, but that will be in the section of spoilers. So stay till then.
Yeah, so we're doing, in case it wasn't clear enough, this first section will be the non-spoiler section, and then after that we will,
then we'll
pause, and then...
We'll say, hey, okay, run away now, spoiler warning for the rest of the episode. It might even be part 2. We'll figure it out as we go.
Yes.
But it depends on how long part 1 takes. But yes, so the non-spoiler half has now begun.
Stick around for the fun if you've read the whole series.
Yes. Alright, so I separated it into like sections. So I didn't go one chapter at a time taking notes, but I have page numbers. So my first kind of notes are from the preface. Do you have notes from the preface?
No, I actually didn't start taking notes until page 100. I don't know why.
I have, so for the preface, where it says, her first friend in her new life, her first friend ever, Deck has left the chat.
Let me get my book open.
I get it, she met Fitz first, but I feel like her first friend, who would talk to her outside of, obligations was really Dex. And then, just the fact that Fitz called Dex Deck, and it was talking about Fitz.
Deck has left the chat.
Deck has left the chat.
Yeah, another thing, sorry, I didn't get to it. I read half of this book on the audio by using the audiobook.
So listened.
Which is I've never done. So
it's
that was quite interesting. I was reading it with my little sister.
Yeah. The audiobook, it's just a little different. The voice actor person, I don't know. It's just something about the way she voices the characters. It's a little, for me, just off-putting.
Sophie sounded very annoying.
Yeah.
Fitz sounded like he talks super slow and is the weirdest British accent ever. It's like, Sophie, how are you? I don't know how to do it.
Then just Keith. Keith's voice.
Yeah, Keith actually, it's not that bad.
But it is bad.
At least... Jaycie showed me a clip of him in Nightfall, and I was like, oh, it's not bad.
She gets better.
But in book 1, it's kind of bad.
Book 1 is awful. And then, I have the Legacy one. And
Biana sounds like... just... I don't know.
Hers is just off.
Vocals make everything better.
She sounds like an old grandma.
Yes. Oh, and then Elwyn. Elwyn sounds so bad. Okay, I had to tell Abby, I was like, okay, pause it. Abby, that's my younger sister, she's reading it for the first time. do not imagine Elwyn this way. I promise. Elwyn is like the fun 20-year-old uncle.
Yeah, he's great. He's not like a grandfather.
British grandpa. Don't make any more visits to the healing center.
No, so just wait. If you ever listen to anything like Nightfall or Beyond, her Ro voice almost made me dislike Ro. It's that bad. It's like, hi, Silver. It's so annoying. I almost died. And the pronunciations are off. She calls, so the one pronunciation that irritates me. We're just bashing this
girl.
I'm sorry. Thank you for taking the time to read all these books out. It like amounts to like more than a week. The time of just listening to them straight, more than a week straight.
Wow.
So it's a lot of time. But there are just little things that irritate me. And one thing that irritates me, now, I'm not mad at you if you say orally instead of orally, but I question it a bit because I've just seen so many people say orally, ha ha ha, because she lied.
And does she say Bronte or Bronte?
She says Bronte.
Okay.
I think.
I mean, so technically
Bronte.
She's right.
She was right about Bronte, but orally is not how you pronounce it. It's orally. She did not lie.
She says Jolie, like 2 different words.
Mm-hmm. I realize I can't go much into orally without getting into the spoiler section. It's fine. Yeah. Well, I might address it later. Well,
we already even brought up Ro, but that's just a character. You'll find them.
Yeah, it's just a character. Mm-hmm. Them. So, continuing with the preface, then it was
spoilers,
like
Sydney. No spoilers.
We have to think about this. Okay.
Right.
It said, clinging to the one memory that could shine a tiny spot of light in the thick, inky haze. This is page 2.
Okay. I'll just follow along, too.
In the thick, inky haze, a pair of beautiful aquamarine eyes. I'm going to just stop you there, Sophie. Aquamarine, Fitz has teal eyes. Aquamarine is blue. I know this because it's my birthstone.
Well, teal is blue, too.
But teal is green blue. Aquamarine is like blue, like light, like ice blue.
It's my birthstone, too, and... Oh, we just revealed our birth...
It doesn't matter. Well, because they know we're about to be 17.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's blue. If you guys look up aquamarine.
The color aquamarine, not the gemstone.
Okay. See, the color may be something a bit different. But I'm just picturing my gemstone aquamarine. And I'm like, okay, see, the color aquamarine is green. That's fair. That's fair. Mm-hmm. But I'm just picturing the birthstone. And, like, no.
Mm-hmm. And your ring looks kind of awkward. Like, yeah.
I mean,
I have one too that's supposed to be my birthstone. It's actually not, but it looks like it because my mom couldn't get it in the right color.
Yeah.
And it's blue.
My grandmother buys us a birthstone for our 10th birthday and then a more expensive birthstone for our 16th birthday. So I have 2 birthstones.
That's so sweet.
Or 2 birthstone rings, yeah. They're very pretty. I love them. Anyway, and the sister who's on the last interview episode, Karis, she is like obsessed with rings and has like 7 or 8. But like not expensive rings, not like $1,000 rings.
If I wear rings, I just mess with them all the time.
I do that with my bracelets. From one of my other friends.
Honestly, I forgot how easy it was to make a podcast from that other chaotic one.
Yeah, it was
like feels so much better.
It's so much easier to like. I don't know. Maybe it's just because we're both introverted, and so like one-on-one is easier.
Yeah.
But with like 5 people, I was just sitting there staring at like half the time.
Yes.
Anyway, focusing again. In the preface, the next one. Wouldn't it be kind of funny if she didn't notice Fitz in the museum? And I get that from where it's like, maybe if she hadn't noticed him that day in the museum, none of this would have happened. It'd be kind of funny if he like walked up, is this you? Sophie just walks away, and Fitz is like, but we're cognits. That's a later in the series joke, but it doesn't spoil anything because there's no context.
All of those children, none of the series would have happened if the screaming children hadn't run through.
It's true. If the kindergartners hadn't come through at that moment, if the teacher was just like, all right, everyone line up and be quiet, and then they just walk through without screaming. This is just like, oh, I guess it's not you. You've got
I love how Sophie goes, Fitz. What kind of a name was Fitz?
And then like later she meets like Keith and Valen. Violin. Valen sounds like violin.
Yeah, I've always thought that.
I literally just realized that.
We're already bouncing the random stuff. Okay.
And then at the beginning it said, no, she had known it had been too late even then. The white fires were already burning, curving toward her city and filling the sky with sticky, sweet smoke. The spark before the blaze. By the way, that foreshadowing. Oh yeah.
I skipped so far. Anyway.
The foreshadowing, the spark before the blaze, that was really cool. That's kind of like my "And So We Begin," which is a device I'll be using many times throughout our book 1 episode. But
I'm so mad I don't have any notes for this. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Just this part.
The white fires were already burning, so that wasn't Everblaze. White fires and sticky sweet smoke. That wasn't Everblaze.
No, it wasn't Everblaze at first.
They just set fires. We can't say who, because they don't. Mm-hmm. But they just set fires. What sort of fire is that? Is it just normal fire?
I wonder.
White fire.
Everblaze is yellow, right?
Everblaze is neon yellow.
Neon yellow.
And it doesn't smell sweet. It just smells like fire.
Yeah. I think they're different.
There's something else.
I think it switches to Everblaze because remember, the firestorms go away and then they get worse. Mm-hmm. And that's when they start investigating it and come back smelling like smoke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was actually smoke that time instead of the sweet fire. Weird. What was this? I feel like it's mentioned at some point, like what sort of fire this is, that it was something different. But
Balefire's blue, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I bet it's in Unlocked.
Probably, but I mean, we can't talk about Unlocked.
Yeah.
Alright, so chapter 1 through 5, I just kind of have them in a collection together because I didn't want to have to make a separate collection for each of the 47 chapters or whatever. So chapters 1 through 5. So first of all, isn't it kind of not allowed to wear earbuds in a class trip in the first place? Like, yeah, Sophie's, I get it, she's wearing the earbuds to block the mental noise, but nobody else knows this, so the fact that it's like, Sweetie held up the earbuds like it was evidence of a crime, to him it probably was. Mm-hmm. And like, no, it kind of is against the rules to wear earbuds and block out the noise of your class. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he was
Oh, no, it's not college classes, it's high school.
No, it's high school. Mm-hmm. Even in college, you're not supposed to, but, like, high school, you're really not supposed to. Like, I don't think that it was horrible of him to want her to stop listening to it, but I also wouldn't have just walked up to her and yanked the earbuds out of her ears. It literally said,
that meme that earbuds. Says, I swear I'll get AirPods next time.
I don't know who that was, but that was funny. Mm-hmm. And then when Sophie pulls her hair, this says all the time, like, Sophie tried to hide behind her hair or pulled her hair in front of her face or made her hair curtains. I'm just picturing, like, Sia or something, like completely closed hair and you can't tell the front of her head from her back. Every single time, I was like...
See, I used to do that. Like,
I'll do this.
I recently cut my hair off a lot, and I, like, am very happy about it. Honestly, I think that one of the Keeper girls should cut their hair. I just wanted to. Like, someone should have short hair. Anyway.
I actually saw
like, Biana should chop it off. It looked great. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so I used to be, like do this on purpose, kind of. And Kylie definitely does it, my sister. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whenever I get, like, embarrassed and I don't want to meet anyone's eyes, sometimes I'll just tilt my head forward and, like, let it block out my peripheral vision. But, like, I don't do Sia. I don't know. That's what I picture.
Curtains.
That's what I picture whenever it's like, Sophie tried to hide behind her hair. Like, for some reason, because I did read this for the first time when I was 12. And my 12-year-old mind was like, Sophie can't even see anymore.
We're going to get into that for me, too.
I
like low-key ship Dopey.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I don't think I ever did.
Anyway. I didn't really. I just didn't. Keith and Sophie didn't occur to me. We'll get to this.
Yeah, Keith. The thing about it for me, I didn't.
Oh, no spoilers.
No, I'm just talking about book 1. I didn't, like, see romantic potential for Keith and Sophie in book 1. Now,
I just dislike Fitz.
You had already finished book 4, and you were like, Jaycie, Keith and Sophie, and I was like, I mean, Fitz is fine. There's nothing wrong with him. Not in book 1.
I remember just thinking Fitzy was cliche from the start, honestly. Mm-hmm. I was
that
like, whatever. And then I think I kind of just shipped Dopey and Rebellion.
I was just like, I mean, Fitz, she likes him. I don't know. I didn't care much about the ships in book 1. The peak of me caring about the ships was probably in book 4, but that's whenever my shift went from, because then I had to wait 9 months for book 5.
Yeah.
So after I read book 4, I was really focused on the kids up until then, but then in the 9 months I waited on book 5, my like focus shifted to the council from rereading it, and I was like, okay, but Orly's so interesting, and that's how that happened. That's why I wasn't like, Orly, but then I reread 4, and that's why before Lodestar came out, I realized, Orly. But yeah, even in book 1, like, whenever she was first introduced, I remember specifically, I had just finished the council scene. I was, like, 4 chapters in, and you're like, so which characters do you like? And I was like, I really like Orly. And you were like, who? I was like the counselor, you know, the one that Sophie said looked like a fairy princess.
To be fair, I don't think I owned the books then.
Mm-hmm. But you were like, you legitimately did not know who I was talking about. And I was like, you know, she's the counselor, the girl counselor. And you were like, oh, she's she's fine, right? You were like, just keep going. You gotta meet Keith. And I was like, okay. And then Orly like hardly came in the book again, and I was like, oh, maybe she's just not important. But I still just like secretly liked her. And then like in book 3, I was like, ah. So anyway,
we bonded over this though. Like,
it's like we knew each other before this, but like not knew each other.
And then I moved, and I was like, and we both have iPods,
right? And we first we emailed a lot, and that's, you actually told me about Keeper of the Lost Cities on an email originally, and I just kind of waved it off because she sent me a whole book list. I was looking for things to read.
Yeah.
And then like months later, you texted me another book list, and you were like, hey, you should read Keeper of the Lost Cities or The Unwanteds or one other series. And I forgot the other one.
You did read the first Unwanted.
And I checked out The Unwanteds, Keeper of the Lost Cities, and one other book, which clearly didn't even make my favorite books. Like, it was a good book, but I couldn't get through it because I was caught up in Keeper.
Percy Jackson.
Maybe? No, it wasn't Percy Jackson. I hadn't read that yet.
Are you sure you didn't get it and then not read it?
Not Percy Jackson. Because I wasn't even allowed to read it until I actually read the whole series. But, for reasons I don't know. I don't think it was intentionally. I think my parents just forgot to look it up. But I got those 3 books, and I was reading Unwanteds first because I thought it looked the most interesting to my 12-year-old mind. Because I was like, the cover of book 1 is kind of weird. I'm not going to read that yet.
Keeper? Because that's what I
That's
did.
what you said. Okay, so actually, I was like 50 pages into Unwanteds. I was like, it's pretty good. And you were like, no, you have to read Keeper. And I was like, I'll get to it. And that's like my avoiding technique is like, I might.
Yeah.
Usually means I won't. Oops, I probably shouldn't have just put myself out there like that. Anyway, that probably means I won't. And so then you were like, no, you should read it first, Jaycie. Don't judge it by its cover. Trust me, it's way better. And that's actually what convinced me to read it. And I was like, fine, I'll just read a little bit. And so I read the part, and I got to where Sophie went to the...
hate the cover? It's not that bad
it's
now.
It's not.
But...
I love it. Like, I love the cover art now. I mean, except Everblaze, but that's off topic.
I especially love the Never Seen cover. It's gorgeous.
And I like the Legacy cover.
Oh.
And the Nightfall cover is so pretty.
Nightfall's pretty. Lodestar is pretty too.
That one was cool. Anyway, but like
Exile's pretty. Okay, continue.
I love the covers, but for some reason, I guess it was just like a different genre than I was used to, like the cover art. So
I thought it was gonna be so weird.
Yeah, and so I read it, and I was like, after they got to, they leapt to the Elven City, Adernalia, and saw the goblins leaving, and then leapt back, and that's kind of where I stopped, like the first day I had read it, or like the first moment I had read it. Whoa. My keyboard was just like, bye. But I was like, this is kind of cool. It's kind of like Alice in Wonderland. And then I read like the blurbs in the beginning of it, and someone was like, this is part Alice in Wonderland, part Lord of the Rings. And
I mean, Alice in Wonderland, I guess I see it, but like, not really.
Keep in mind, I was 12 and I had read like 2 chapters.
Oh.
So I was like, I guess it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland. Like, you know, she visits this crazy fantasy world that couldn't be real. And then I read the rest of the book.
Yeah.
And, you know, I already said that thing about Orly. And I'm going to try to keep remembering my original impressions of it because these are, like, so strange.
Because there was this other book my friend had recommended to me. It's called, like, Wander Something. Anyway, it looks really weird, and I tried to read it, and it was really weird. And so then I saw the Keeper cover, and I just assumed it would be like that. Yeah. Until my mom was like, you're checking this out. You have nothing to read.
Mom forced you.
Yeah, she just picked it up.
That,
and I had seen Exile. I was like, ew, alicorns? I don't want to read that.
I didn't even know what an alicorn was.
She found book 1, and she was like, here, you're reading this. I'm tired of you complaining. I was like, fine. I won't like it. I promise I won't like it. And then I pulled an all-nighter.
Did you know?
Yeah.
As a 12-year-old, pulled an all-nighter?
Yeah.
When I was 12, I was like...
I don't know if I pulled an all-nighter, but I know I stayed up late.
In your 12-year-old mind, it was an all-nighter. As a 12-year-old, I was like, an all-nighter? I'd never. Oh, wow, 10 is so late. Now, what, like, 4 years later, I've pulled, like, 4 all-nighters in 1 month.
4 years later, it's 2:45, and...
We're in the middle of recording a podcast.
Almost 5 years.
4 years before. I wouldn't even like this book, Mom. Why are you making me read it?
It's gotta be 5 years.
Well, yeah, almost 5. Well,
were we 11 or 12?
I read it in 2016, and it's 2021, so yeah, 5 years.
I don't even know how to do math.
I read it in, like, March, April. I read it in the beginning of 2016, but, like, the second quarter.
So for me, then it's definitely 5 years.
Yeah, for you it's been 5. For me, it's, like, almost 5. Because we both waited on Lodestar together, but you waited longer.
Yep.
Because you said that you threw Never Seen at the wall. Anyway,
Yeah.
I remember being like, because I was just reading book 1. You were like, yeah, I threw book 4 at the wall. And I was like, what? What did I just get myself into?
I remember that. I got it at Christmas, and I spent Christmas reading it.
Nice. No, I actually...
Reading Everblaze.
So,
actually.
Mom, I had finished Never Seen. We were waiting on Lodestar. And all of us were fighting over the copy of book 1 because we all wanted to read it. And my siblings didn't even read it until recently.
We'll get back to book 1, I promise.
My siblings didn't even read it, like, actually read it until recently, but they were all fighting me for it. And so, and we had to turn it into the library that day, and my mom was just like, and we lived in an apartment, by the way, and there were 6 kids by then. We lived in a 3-bedroom apartment while we were waiting for this house to be built, and we were just all stuck together, and we were fighting over the one library copy that had to be returned that day. And so my mom just, like, silently disappears, and we were like, oh no, wait, are we in trouble? And then she comes back out with the entire Keep of the Lost City series. She's like, I've been saving this for Christmas, but I think you guys need it now. And we were like,
and I was
like, I love you.
No way. And it's kind of funny because the entire series back then was
4 books. It was 4,
books.
yeah. Because you had a triple copy of book 1, 2, and 3. You know, my book 3, you guys, if you're on the Instagram, you saw what it looks like by now. 5 years later, I've read it so many times.
No, that would be the next episode.
It's broke.
Wait,
what?
I'll post that picture on the next episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You'll see. And then Never Seen was only out in hardcover then. That's so long ago.
That's why I've had to replace. I gave away. Did I ever buy Exile? Or did I give away my copy? Yeah, I had paperbacks for all the first 3, and I still have my paperback Everblaze. It looks awful, and I need to buy it in hardcover really badly.
Does it look as bad as mine?
Yeah, I also think it's signed. Because I got Shannon to sign all... It's like in tatters, but I got Shannon to sign all of my books.
Nice.
Except, yeah.
Back whenever she could actually do that. Because that's before it got popular. Because now she just does the book plates. Yeah. Like, you have to, like, sign up and be in a line and stuff to get a sign. Now
I got really lucky. I still can't even believe I got to meet her. I was in the front row. Long story, yeah. And
it was...
She gave us all her extra swag because it was a really small meeting. And so I had extra stuff. Did I send you some?
Yeah. You actually got her to say, like, to Jaycie.
Yes, and then I just sent it to all my friends.
It has my name on it, and I was like,
about that. I'm such a good friend.
You are such a good friend.
I got it for Riley, too. Yeah. And Joel, because they couldn't be there. And no, Claire got it for Kobe. Anyway.
That's cool. Anyway, yeah. I was so excited. I was like, Shannon wrote my name. Anyway, continuing with book 1, stared at her feet. Like, Sophie, where is it? She pulled her shoulder-length blonde hair away in front of her face, and it's like she stared at her feet. And, yeah, she stared at her feet. If I got a luster every time I read that phrase, a luster, that's the elven money, Sydney.
Oh, yeah. I was like...
If I got a luster every time I read the phrase, Sophie stared at her feet, or found the floor very interesting, I'd be very, very rich.
Every time Sophie blushes.
Or blushes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I'll bring this up again. We're so bad at not spoiling. Okay,
I don't know who you're talking about, so...
We're
mouthing words to each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they both blush so much.
Well, yeah, but she has less scenes.
Less scenes, yeah, I know.
So
but, like a given scene
the
that
ratio.
Like, take flashback. You know, that first scene. Yeah. Anyway, ratio. That's what I mean. Mm-hmm. If I got Malamelt for every time Sophie pulled out her eyelashes.
Oh my gosh.
I would have more Malamelt than any elf combined. And then, what was it? Oh, right. Sophie's like, she couldn't tell anyone about her being able to read. This is it. It had been her secret, her burden, since she fell and hit her head when she was 5 years old. She tried blocking the noise, tried ignoring it. Nothing helped. And she could never tell anyone. They wouldn't understand. It's 24 minutes in. I'll put a note. Anyway, I don't know what happened.
We just said a spoiler, so we had to cut that. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's interesting.
I'm typing my note to edit the spoiler.
Okay. Just cut this whole part out.
We literally said the same thing and stopped at the same time. Anyway. Okay, sorry about that. We had to cut a spoiler. We're getting used to this no spoilers thing. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I don't know what made her decide, I can't tell anyone. Like, no one would understand.
There's
I don't know.
other possibilities that we could think of, but we can't say spoilers. Mm-hmm. But then again, I mean,
it's just
science fiction movies.
I don't know. You had to invent something. I have another time that I'm like, wait a second, I'm not sure that's exactly right, but I don't remember where it is. I just remember I wrote it.
I mean, if you were Sophie, would you tell anyone?
Yeah, I would have been freaked out. I'd been like, man, I can hear what you're saying. Or I would have used it to my advantage and been like, actually, you're lying right now. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. You're thinking the opposite of what you said.
But, like, imagine you just wake up. Because suddenly here you'd be, like, freaked out, but...
I'd be, like, telling the world, I'm gonna get rich off this, man. I will be hired for police interrogation.
No, I'd be scared. Not scared, but I would be like...
At first, I'd be like...
Superpowers.
Right. At first, I'd be shocked. I mean, especially as a 5-year-old. But by the time I'm 12, 7 years later, I would have trusted someone enough to be like, by the way, I can hear everything.
No.
Or, like, at 6, being completely oblivious, been like, Mommy, can everyone hear thoughts like this?
No, I wouldn't have done it. Nope.
That's weird.
No.
Maybe
I would
I
have
just
been like,
superpowers,
I'm supposed to keep this a secret. And then just looked for someone to tell, but never found anyone I trusted enough. Mm-hmm. Because then, as you get older, you notice all the things that could go wrong if someone found out, especially once you start hearing...
But as a 5-year-old...
I was a smart 5-year-old.
I mean, okay. Apparently, my dad just told me this story. Apparently, I could read fluently and quickly, faster than he could read, when I was 4 years old.
Yeah, I could read...
I didn't know that.
4, too.
I didn't know that I could read at 4 until, like, last
Apparently,
night.
I was also speaking in, like, full sentences and scaring people.
Yeah, he said that whenever I was even younger than that, and I was, like, really small for my age until I was, like, 5, and then I just was tall for my age, and then I hit 12 and stopped growing, and now I'm small again. But whenever I was really little, I was really small for my age, so I looked like an 18-month-old. But then he'd be like, Jaycie, go get my books. And I'd be like, okay, Daddy, I can get your books.
Oh, my goodness.
And then I would walk away, know exactly which books he was talking about, and come back. And he'd be like, thank you, Jaycie. And I'd be like, you're welcome. And it, like, scared people because it would look like a little baby.
Did you talk to adults more than kids?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
One of my closest friends is an adult.
My dad worked at the same place we had preschool.
Aren't you just winking me?
I don't know if I should say my dad's profession. I probably have before. Anyway, worked at the same place I had preschool, and so he would watch me through the window during recess. That sounds creepy, but he was my dad, so he was like, oh, what's Sydney doing? And he would just see me sitting there talking to the teacher and call my mom and be like, she's just talking to the teacher. Why is she just talking to the teacher? And my mom would be like, she just likes to talk to people, I promise.
Yeah, so whenever I was little, like, age 9 to, like, 12, the only person that at my church that I, like, talked to was an adult person. Like, to this day, we have a really great friendship because, like, okay, there was no one my age at church. I was always, like, the older kid, and there were people my siblings' ages, but instead of talking to the younger kids, I would just talk to the adults, specifically this one adult, who also reads Keeper and loves it.
You can talk to kids and adults, like, really well. I
try.
Yeah. Like, it's pretty funny.
Wait, like what?
Like, you just have 2 modes. It's, like, Jaycie with kids mode, which is, like, your younger self, and then
really
adults.
Hyper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I can get, like, really hyper and insane.
I think it's from your siblings.
With kids, probably.
Honestly, yeah.
Because, this is random, at my youth group, I have a bunch of, like, 9 and 10-year-old girls that just, like, follow me around. I'm like, what? Oh, cool, I have friends.
I think we forgot we were recording.
Oh, well, I know, that's why I'm like, this is so off topic.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry. You get to hear so much about our lives randomly.
They love us by now.
Back to the book. Wait, where was I? Oh, right. If I actually... Okay, whenever he's like, oh, so if you know so much about this class that you don't need to listen, why don't you just teach it? I would have been like, no, sorry, I didn't mean to... Yeah, sorry, just go on, sir. I wouldn't have been like, okay, I'll just pull up my photographic memory. And, okay, so the dinosaur that we were looking at is called... I wouldn't have done that. I would have been like, oh, no, sorry, sir, I'll just go... You go ahead.
Wait, I'm scanning that.
I'm at, like, the, explain to the class how the Lamiosaurus differs from the other dinosaurs we've studied. I would have just, like, muttered, like, a little quick response, like, oh, yeah, it's different because this and this and this. But instead, she's, like, her photographic memory recorded every detail. As she recited the facts, his face twisted into a scowl, and she could hear their thoughts grow increasingly sour.
Well, I mean, he asked her to, and then she's like...
I would have given the shortest answer possible and hid for the rest of the life.
I mean, she might know, I'm just making up things, but she might know that he would have poked her more to say more and stuff.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a good thing.
And also, you have to I would want to prove them wrong. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I don't need to listen.
See, that's because you're sort of an I'm turbulent. If you listen to our Myers-Briggs episode, that will all make sense. Oh, right. Okay, I saw this somewhere. This is
page numbers.
Yes, page 5 still.
Okay.
This isn't a thought that originated in my head, but I saw this somewhere. Garwin Chang's t-shirt. Keep in mind he's a high school senior. Mm-hmm. If a high school senior is going to wear a shirt, it's not going to be middle school humor. It would be a little more, depending on the school's dress code, he would either wear just like a plain t-shirt or he would wear something that said something a little more...
Probably, yeah.
Adult than that.
Back off, I'm going to fart.
I don't know. That's very middle school boy humor. Yeah. High school seniors, like... The high school senior men, at least, are boys.
Abby was snickering when we read that.
It's funny to middle schoolers, like 100% middle school boy humor, but like high school seniors, no, they'd be like, ew, I'm not a child.
I don't know, maybe back in like 2000 whatever, that was funny.
This isn't a thought that originated in my head, so it could be wrong, but I technically am a high school senior right now, so like, I don't know. I'm not a boy though, so there we go. Maybe I just don't know. Maybe boys are just... I mean, my dad said boys' brains fall out of their head when they're 12 and they don't get back till they're like 19. And that's why they make the space-headed decisions that they do at those ages.
Okay, we gotta focus.
That's the best word I can use for it. Anyway, yep, this is gonna be a spoiler. Never mind. We'll get back to that thought. There's a different thought I had, but I just edited it out because it's spoiler. Then Fitz comes. Now, I know, like, it said something felt off about the conversation. Here it is, page 7. Something felt off about the conversation, but she couldn't figure out what it was, and she couldn't place his accent. I don't really know. I mean, of course, she realizes in a second that she couldn't hear his thoughts. But I feel like there was something else to me that was off. It was just, like, I don't know, something felt off about the conversation. Like, if some random dude who's about my age walked up to me in a museum and just randomly asked me if it was me in a newspaper, I wouldn't have been like, something's off. I'd have been like, I'm calling the police. Boy, you better get out of here because the FBI is going to be on your tail and I can read your mind.
Yeah.
Again, with the mind reading thing, I would take advantage of that. I wouldn't, like, use it for, like, imprisonable things, but I would read people's thoughts to, like, get the truth out. Mm. Here it is. Yeah. I don't know, man. If something was like, we've been looking for you for 12 years, it'd be like, ha ha ha, that's nice. Meet my friend the FBI. He deals with stalkers like you all the time. LOL, I'm going to go research how to hire a bodyguard and or get federal protection, and your two eyes are going to jail. And then she turns and runs away, and he's like, Sophie, come back. Like, she's just going to be like, oh, well, since you said come back, sure, just let me... And Shannon made Fitz seem so scary in the scene. She could hear his footsteps gaining on her. Like he's gonna, like, capture her or something. I mean, kind of, but not like that. And then, chapter 1, book 1, or it's like maybe chapter 2. But like the ending of this, she was going to die. Me holding the other 4,300 pages of the story, The Adventures of Ghost Sophie. Actually, okay, so one of my friends, Annabelle, I've said your names, now you have to be on it, Annabelle. She gave me this idea. She has really, like, whoa, theories. Like, how did you think of that? What if the whole series is just Sophie's dream?
No, not this.
And she's in a coma from being hit by the car.
I've heard this so many times.
Or she's been in a coma since she was 5 and hit her head. And her being a telepath and all this is just like some sort of crazy coma fever dream.
We don't talk about that. I mean, it's fiction anyway, so like.
But like it being double fiction would just hurt extra more. It would just be like, no.
I hate
I'd be so mad. Yeah, I would be so mad if Shannon was just like, it gets to the climax, they're fighting with the Neversee, and it's like, Sophie's eyes fluttered open, and she looked at the doctor standing around her. She couldn't hear their thoughts.
I literally burned the series.
Sue, I want my $3,000 back.
Rewrite it.
Yeah, good idea. I would do that.
Right.
But I might do it anyway. But we're not gonna get into that till the spoiler half. And then Yeah, but that driver's gonna go home and be like, oh, go ahead, because I have.
It is interesting how it starts with lanterns and then finishes with lanterns.
Whoa.
Yeah, because
that's smart. I didn't even think of that. Whoa.
I feel like I made that connection a long time ago.
Because it starts with them using the Force and the lanterns, and it ends with them leaping back with the lanterns. So the human Forbidden Cities are connected to lanterns.
Interesting.
Ooh. I wonder if that was intentional. I mean, I'm sure it was. It's very...
Yeah.
But anyway, this driver, he's gonna go home and be like, yeah, honey. Oh, good to see you.
Yeah, how are there not?
I almost hit a kid today. I mean, don't worry. I didn't hit her, but I hit a pole and the car is totaled. But get this. After I hit that pole, I watched that kid, the one I almost hit, use the force. No, really. I know what I saw. I was about to like crush her with my car. Then she just reached in her arm and, honey, what are you doing? No, put the phone down. Honey, don't call a psych ward. I'm completely sane. I had so much fun writing these notes. Just wait, I have a whole like
my notes.
Rant.
I'm gonna have to interpret them because they're really bad notes.
And then on page 13, Fitz is like, Sophie, you gotta put it down, and she's just like, oh cool, I'll drop the lantern on my head. Sophie, what? And that's like foreshadowing of how clumsy she's gonna be. Okay, let me get this straight, because we got Watch out, Fitz shouted, yanking her out of the way. A split second before the lantern crashed to the ground, the force of the impact knocked them over and they tumbled to the sidewalk. Fitz's body broke her fall as she landed across his chest. Time seemed to stop. She stared into his eyes. So let me get this straight. Sophie met a complete stranger who, had been stalking her, and she ran away from him, and within moments, they were just jumping under falling streetlights for each other and staring into each other's eyes. This is why I'm not a Fitz V.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then page 19 is the next place I have a comment. It's like, she willed her palms not to sweat as her fingers laced together. Her heart did that stupid fluttery thing again, and her hand tingled everywhere their skin touched. Her hand tingled everywhere their skin touched? Okay, I feel like Sophie has a lot more allergies than she's letting on. I'm pretty sure she's allergic to Fitz, guys. I know I wasn't going to be able to say that with a straight face. No, listen. She literally has, minor to major heart palpitation / heart attack things every time she looks at him. Her hand tingles when they touch. Guys, she has an allergy. It's not just Limium. She's allergic to Fitz. She's legitimately going to, just one day fall over, and I was going to be like, oop, heart attack.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I feel like between then there's, what was it, her heart pounded so loud in her ears. She's got heart issues, man. She's going to go into cardiac arrest.
Radioactive.
Oh my goodness. And then, they light leap a few pages later. I'm not going to lie. I have a Pathfinder, and I might have tried to light leap with it more than once.
What, Jaycie?
Okay, to be fair, it wasn't my idea to make it. One of my other friends who had told about the series...
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the light leaping.
That was her idea, too. She was like, okay, we made them. Now we need to light leap. And I was like, okay, but it's not going to work. But then whenever we got to it, we were actually standing outside, and we were just, staring at the beam of light, and I was like, but what if it does?
12, yeah.
Yeah, I was, 12 or 13. I wasn't completely mature, and I was just going along with my friend.
That's the thing. At the very end, oh yeah, I would do that too. But what if this is a portal to...
And she's really hyper and extroverted, and she's theater kid, so she's like, this is gonna be so cool. So now we have to reach it up to the light. Eternalia.
Is it it's not Katarina, is it?
Mm-mm. It's Ella.
No, Ella, that's who I meant. Sorry.
No, yeah. I mean, they're both very hyper, so they're both my extroverted friends. Yeah, they're great. Anyway,
I was gonna say though, light leaping at the end too. I was like, it doesn't really make sense.
Shush. It isn't magic. It's the way it is.
I know, but
science fiction.
But okay, so the lantern thing at the very end. I'll just get there when we get there.
All right.
How could a human not walk into the path of the light and just get zapped?
Oh my goodness.
Because I made it when I was 11, because it was before I read Keeper. I made up a similar form of transportation to that, but with shadows. Mm-hmm. I made it so specific so that someone wouldn't be able to just walk into a shadow and then get sent somewhere.
Whoa, where is this? Okay, now I'm just making up this whole story about whenever the counselors are in trouble, they have to be in charge of supervising whenever the humans accidentally walk into the light, and there's just a washer who has to wash the mind of the humans, and they have to like monitor the washer to make sure they're not accidentally just leaving a human's memory, just fun, just to see if it makes any crazy things happen in the Forbidden Cities.
But like there's a crystal on a lantern in a human city.
I mean, I can just imagine all the time, like, it leaps to this one specific spot next to the Four Seasons tree, and there's just the guard sitting there, and just every once in a while someone will pop up and they'll be like, oh my goodness, and then he was just looking around like, what the Everblaze? And they're like, they'll just come with me. We'll all take it out of your mind in a minute, don't worry. Like, so annoyed because they got put on watch duty.
Okay, we gotta go fast, because I don't even have notes till page, like, 160.
Alright, sorry. The Goblin Treaty is newer than I expected. Because whenever Fitz first takes Sophie to the Lost Cities...
Have you seen this?
Ooh, no, I haven't.
I'll show you all the illustrations. Fitz does look pretty weird in this illustration. Why is he, like, shaking the Pathfinder next to his ear?
Why is he, like, square? That's so weird.
If you guys have the annotated editions, you'll see.
You'll know what I mean. Mm-hmm. What was I talking about? Sorry. Oh, right. So, like, he gets there and he's like, oh, yeah, these are the goblins walking out of the tribunal. So the Goblin Treaty is that new. Oh. That's when the Goblin...
Yeah.
He said it's a good thing they signed the treaty. Here.
Oh, but that doesn't necessarily... No. I think the goblins were just guards. They didn't sign the treaty that day.
No. Hold on. He really implied it was, but it's like, right...
I'm looking for it.
It's somewhere between page... It's before page 30.
You look confused. Oh, here it is. Well, you have different page numbers.
Which one is yours?
27.
Oh, here it is.
Chapter 4.
2 elves with floor-length velvet capes draped over their black tunics emerged, followed by dozens of bizarre creatures marching in military formation down the rocky path. They were at least 7 feet tall and wore only black pants, leaving their thick muscles prominently on display. With their flat noses and coarse gray skin, which fell in pleated folds, they looked part alien, part armadillo. Goblins, Fitz whispered, probably the most dangerous creatures you'll ever meet, which is why it's a good thing they signed the treaty. So he's really implying that they just signed the treaty.
No, he's not.
I feel like...
Let me look and see. They said a tribunal.
Mm-hmm.
Back here it says a tribunal is in progress. Oh, what's a tribunal? Basically, when the council holds a hearing to decide if someone's broken a law. Yeah. Nope.
So...
Nope, it's not that new. I promise.
It has to do with something else then.
Yeah, there was something else going on. Another tribunal, but
it would have been something important to merit that many goblin guards.
Yeah, but I think Shannon just threw it in there like, oh, they have council proceedings. Honestly.
She's got the council
so like
developed, though. Somebody
else could have...
I'm so suspicious of this now. I'm so laser focused on the council, but it ended up helping me, so...
I don't think it's it. It would be amazing if it was connected to something, but
I'm calling that now. That's something.
Okay.
That has something to do with Fenton.
It could, but...
I'm going to talk more about Fenton later, but I gotta say that for the spoiler half because I tie in stuff from other books.
No, they weren't.
I have a thing, like an actual thing, like a theory that's not just based on this.
Okay, fine.
But that could tie into it.
Okay.
Theoretically. I mean, I don't know. Shannon doesn't seem like that messy of a writer. Like, yeah, I'll just throw this here.
No, I think it's just normal. Okay, we'll see.
Well, he says, like, pages later, maybe on that same page, he's like, well, it's important because elves rarely break laws. And so he's like, well, that's different. Humans break laws all the time. And Fitz is like, it's really different here.
Interesting.
Or I need to know that exact. What is it? We're just like humans. And then she's like, I'm really an elf. Oh, what was it?
Okay, let's move on. Though, because we're really gonna... We probably recorded so much already.
We're 40 minutes in.
That's insane. Okay, we gotta go.
Sorry. Okay.
Honestly.
So page 33, I have like a bunch of notes. Her heart jolted. And then whenever Fitz left her, I'll find you. Shannon made him creepy. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
And then on page 33, whenever she got back to her mom, I will be having a long talk with her. I'd be like, oop. No, that's page 33.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then, how do her parents just let her run upstairs? My parents would be like, get your bottom back down here right now.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't work well for me. And then, okay, page 35 and her mom, where she hears the rest of her mom's thought. I wish you could be normal like your sister. Okay, but hearing people's thoughts would be awful.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying she wouldn't tell anyone about it.
Well, I
also,
would.
how weird would that be? Like, hey, I can hear everything you said about me, and I can't turn it off. So, like, everything
I wouldn't tell everyone, to be fair.
I know, but that would take some serious trust. I would not trust anyone enough.
I would tell, like, my parents, at least. I don't know.
No. After you hear them say one bad thing about you,
True.
I would not be able to do that.
But she was 5. I don't know.
And then they, like, ship you off to a psych ward.
True.
Anyway.
Well, I feel like it has something to do with... Well, because we know things have been implanted in her mind, but we don't know how that happened. Like, as of the end of this book, it's like, Quinn was like, maybe she is already the greatest keeper. So that was probably something implanted in her mind. Possibly. It's like, you can't tell anyone. But it's subconscious, so she doesn't know that. Then Sophie's dreams, though, on page 40, like, this is a theme for the rest of the series.
Yes,
this is the first, and so we begin.
Okay, that's a spoiler thing, but it's not going to make any sense out of context. The Keebler elves, their first mention.
Yeah, and so we begin. By the way, whenever I say and so we begin, that just means that this ties into the rest of the series, but not in an important way, usually. Sophie's dreams. They held her hostage until she perfected all of their cookie recipes. Then she told them she liked Oreos better, and they tried to drown her in a giant vat of fudge. Sophie, my dear, you may need some therapy. Why are you afraid of cookies? Sophie, yeah, her dreams
Also, it makes me so sad that she never wore yellow. That's just depressing. She's like, I'm not gonna wear colors.
I mean...
A shirt she'd never worn. Buttery yellow with brown stripes.
Okay, I haven't noticed that.
It was the only item in her closet that wasn't gray. And she'd been too self-conscious to wear it. Like, that's sad, man.
It's sad, yeah, but, like, buttery yellow? That's the best description we could come up with for, like, a pretty shirt. Buttery...
Honestly.
Yellow. She has blonde hair, guys. She has blonde hair and brown eyes and is wearing a buttery yellow shirt. Not only that, but we can also see that she's pretty pale. So put that together in your head. We got blonde hair, brown eyes, and a buttery yellow shirt with
buttery
kind of
yellow
like
with brown stripes.
With brown stripes. Stripes. And pale, super pale skin. She pales like 6 times.
You gotta remember
in
this
the next
is set
scene,
in like
right?
2000 something.
True. So it probably wasn't as bad then. But I remember reading this for the first time and cringing as a 12-year-old. I was not good with fashion sense, but I cringed internally.
I cringed too.
I was like, and I was like that kid who wore like weird outfits. Like, why are you wearing red pants, a pink shirt, and green socks? And I'd just be like, wait, what? I'm wearing something?
I guess that's why it's such a big jump for her to go from gray clothes and her buttery yellow shirt
and then
to
elven
clothes.
Actual fashion.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, that's my rant about her buttery yellow shirt. And like, we couldn't come up with like sunflower yellow, sunshine yellow, buttery yellow. Buttery. Like oily yellow. Anyway.
Ew.
Okay, in that 40 to 41 scene, I feel like most people probably thought that Mr. Forkle was super annoying, but I was kind of like, oh, he's like a grumpy old guy who's actually kind of sweet underneath his grumpiness.
Now we have different page numbers.
Oh, I'm still on chapter 6, like in the first little bit. But when Mr. Forkle comes on, he's like looking for someone, and she's like, no, you're so nosy, leave me alone. I'm like, oh, he's just a sweet old man. He's not that bad. And then, I'm moving on, but I do revisit this in the spoiler section. 44, missed me bad, huh? Fitz, dear, you're not Keith. You're not allowed to channel your inner Keith. I'm not okay with that. And he does that a lot in this book. And also channels his dad. So, I feel like Fitz channels, I mean, they are best friends, Fitz and Keith. So they hang around each other a lot. They'll end up kind of emulating the other's like joke style and stuff. But Fitz, I feel like kind of, he has this odd little thing, and I'll incorporate, and so we begin. He likes to take something that he sees in someone else and try to make it his thing.
That's actually true.
So like Keith's joking style, art. Art. Those of you who've read the series further know exactly what I'm talking about. But art. Or like later in book 1, he says no reason to worry to Sophie. So he'll try to take these little things. He's like, oh, that person did it, and I liked it, so now it's my thing.
Yeah.
And
true.
it's kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
Get your own thing.
And the whole ship thing, and
the art
entirely.
That made me so mad.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get to this later.
Revisit this because I have some thoughts.
Then page 46. Why is she so scared of a test? Because he's like.
One more thing too. I bet part of why Fitz is like that could be, at least in this book, because Keith wasn't added in until later drafts.
That's true because yeah. Let me put in a note for page 44 really quick later in the spoiler section.
Great.
So 44, Fitz emulating people. Okay, but I'm kind of proud, like, of how many notes. I have 15 pages of notes, and I read this book in a day. Like, I put down so many things, and I'm kind of proud of it. Like, how did I get this much out of it? Yeah. Okay, where am I?
Where's my... Oh, there's my book.
Sydney's searching. Oh, there we go. She lost her copy of book 1 in our tiny little room. Well, anyway. Why is she so scared of a test? Isn't she, like, supposed to be the smart kid who just, like, recited a whole passage to her whole high school senior class as a 12-year-old? And then all of a sudden, Fitz is like...
Sure, but no, because it's new.
He's like... He's like, she read his mind. First of all, he's like, you just gotta trust me. I'm here to help you. Then she read his mind, and then she goes, a test? It literally said she shrieked. I'm like, be a little more discreet about it. For me, it's page 46.
Oh, yeah.
It says, a test, she shrieked. I'm like, okay, calm down, Sophie. You literally just read his mind. I mean, maybe he's dramatizing it. Maybe
but, like, I'd be scared, too. I don't know. But I wouldn't shriek.
I wouldn't shriek. And it's, like, enough for a few people to turn their heads their way. And I was just like, I'm pretty sure Fitz is like, keep it down. Doesn't he say that?
I'm looking. Not here, but I'm...
46. He's like, you read my mind and you dragged her deeper into the shadows. Yeah. You can't do that. And maybe it's right before that, as a bunch of people looked over. And I was like, And then page 48, where...
I don't know. I could see myself.
Oh, on page 48, and it's like all these rules about telepaths, and they're useless unless someone's given them permission to enter the mind, essentially, because, like, you're not even allowed to. This is why I'd rather be an empath, because it kills me if I can't put stuff together, and I need to get other hints. And I wouldn't want to have to ask permission, like, can you please let me just read your mind really quick? I would just be like, I'm not afraid to just, like, if I was an empath, I wouldn't be afraid to just be like...
That's true.
Mm-hmm. But as a telepath, first of all, you have to touch their face instead of, like, their shoulder to read their mind, which is just creepy. But then also, like, you have to ask their permission unless you have special clearance, and I would not. I would just be like, no, I want to be an empath.
I'd be like, give me that special clearance.
Right. I feel like you would be like the highest emissary, or like you wouldn't want to be a counselor. Because they can't get married. Exactly. I feel like I'd be a counselor just until like I met someone, then I'd be like resign immediately. Yeah. Goodbye. I do not. Give me a buzz. No, I have to cut that. Okay.
Just cut that little bit.
Yeah, I have to put a note. 53 minutes. And anyway, I would not want to be a counselor for reasons that will make sense one day. Mm-hmm. If you are reading the series, read more. Where am I? Sorry, I lost my spot. Oh, right. Fitz, so dramatic. He's like, Sophie's like, can you tell me what the test determines? Your future. Isn't he like 14? 15. Like, Fitz, why are you thinking about her future right now? You just, first of all, like, kid, chill.
Okay, I've been hanging out with some 15-year-old boys recently, and they would be like that, though.
With some what?
15-year-old boys.
Oh.
On the trip.
Your future?
Yeah.
Okay, bud.
But you have to say, like, the audiobook later, like, your future. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. It's not like that. It'd be like, your future.
Chapter 52.
Your future.
Chapter 52. Page 52. Where he gives her the nexus. I may or may not have a nexus. Made with the same friend who I made the Pathfinder with. We made that in case the light leap did work because we didn't want to be scattered.
It was ugly.
Mine is pretty. I love it. I got inspiration from her designs, though.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I may or not have a nexus made with the same friend because in case the light leap did work, we didn't want to fade.
Y'all are funny.
We are such nerds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My dad had a bracelet that looked just like what I imagined Nexus as, and so I stole it.
That's cool.
Not stole it, but, borrowed it.
Borrowed it
for a long time.
amount of time.
Yes.
Yes. Bront. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know where he gets introduced, but I went ahead and put I low-key want to slap Bront in this scene. And I love that Sophie just drops Bront and Kendrick's just
One of my notes for later is, what purpose? But let me find that note. I just said, like, why is Bront a jerk in this? He has no reason to be such a jerk.
Because he thought that the whole thing was fake. And so he's like, I've been proven wrong. I can never be proven wrong. I'm always right. He leans towards INTJ. I feel like he's INTP. And we'll probably type him one day. But he's like, wrong. I'm never wrong. If I'm wrong, then there's something wrong with her, like Sophie. And so he's trying to prove that he's right all along. And that Project Moonlark, well, it may have been real, but, like, something's wrong with the Moonlark.
Yeah, we'll get to wherever it was, but I was like, he's such a jerk in this, and he has literally no character development. See, like, Snape has a reason to be a jerk to Harry. Mm-hmm. Bront is just like a jerk.
Counselor Bront will be difficult to impress, Alden admitted. He feels your upbringing and lack of proper education should disqualify you. Plus, he doesn't like surprises. The council had no idea you existed until today, and he's more than a little miffed about it, but you only need 2 out of 3 votes. Just do the best you can. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Something about Bront. He doesn't like surprises. Oh my goodness. You know that's my dad. Mm-hmm. I know that's my dad.
My dad's the same way,
like surprises.
Yeah.
No, like my dad, like, even when we're recording, he's like, okay, how long is it gonna be? And I'm like, I don't know until we're, like, almost near the end how long it's gonna be. And he's like, well, I need to know this. And if it goes a little bit longer, he's, like, anxiety about it almost. Like, so I kind of,
you
like,
do press record, right?
Yeah, I can watch it count on my computer. Sydney, I feel like Sydney gets anxiety about whether or not the recording worked every time.
Very much. It's suspicious that it's worked every time, because usually things are wrong.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway, okay, keep going.
And she doesn't get technology, so that's probably like an added layer. Anyway, we talked about that in a different episode. Okay, but I love that Sophie drops Bront and Kendrick's just like, that was awesome, yes, maybe you finally knocked some sense into him. Like, he doesn't say that verbatim, but, like, he would.
Also, it's funny how obsessed she is about pointy ears. Like, if you're an elf, pointy ears kind of cool.
I mean, yeah.
Like, oh, look at me, I'm an elf. Sorry. I feel like they also look so dainty. True. That's so random, though. I love it. And she's like, I'm going to get pointy ears, and, like, touches her ears like they'd already transformed. She's so dramatic. Like, Sophie. 12-year-olds. Me reading this. What was it, though? Ooh, I have a note for page 60. 1 second. But it's a spoiler. It's a spoiler section note. Okay.
I'm just going to write down the page number, and I'll know what I was thinking. Hopefully. 60. Oh, I kind of have it on there.
It's annoying that our page numbers don't line up because I have annotated.
Yeah. Oh, well, you have cool stuff though, so it's worth it.
Yeah.
Sydney has the annotated edition because she's a real fan. I have the old edition because.
Have you seen this? Bront looks like an old man.
That's Bront?
Yes.
What? Why does it look so different from the unlocked art?
I don't know.
What?
Anyway.
Because he looks like
everything
Ben
else
Shapiro.
looks good though. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, I lost my spot. Trying to copy and paste page 60. Right, we're back in 67. Why did Bront demand a probe? Because he's a pain. Like, that answer. Because after, Alden's, like, taking the counselors out, and so Sophie's just sitting there with Fitz, and she's like, why would Bront demand a probe? And Fitz just is like, because he's a pain. I love how none of them are scared to roast Bront. Like, literally all the time. And Bront's supposed to be, like, this intimidating counselor, and they're just constantly, like, roasting him. Like, oh, you're so mean.
I have some later where I'm like, LOL, Alden.
And then, okay, in the Atlantis part, it's in a few pages.
Wait, what's a senior counselor?
It's just he's the counselor who's been there the longest, so he has, like, extra...
I mean, that makes sense, but it's interesting. Okay.
He has extra weight to his demands, basically. Like, they have to pay more attention to him.
my right as this made-up thing I just made up.
I could see Bront just making it up, though, being like, I am the senior counselor, so I am...
At a rally, you just roll your eyes, like...
And Kendrick's like, we're really doing this now. All right, fine, then. A probe. Probe it is. Oh, my goodness. And, Right, the whirlpool thing for Atlantis. Like, we make fun of Sophie, or at least Fitz makes fun of Sophie. I don't make fun of Sophie. There is no way that they could have gotten me in that whirlpool without picking me up and jumping with me.
Yeah.
I would, no sir, I would never.
I was supposed to jump off a 20-foot cliff into water one time when I was her age.
No.
And I was like, it took me a full hour to work up the courage to do it, and then we were leaving I did it.
I would be there for an hour.
I think I did it 3 times.
Stare in terror,
and
I would have wasted my whole day just refusing to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
I wasted the whole time, and then I did it. Like, everyone did it maybe 20 times. I did 3.
Okay, it depends.
If not 2.
It would also depend on how much sleep and how much caffeine I had had. If I had had very little sleep and a lot of caffeine, I would have watched the first person do it, seen they didn't die, then I would have done it. But if, like, I would never go first. I would have to have probably an ENFP just be like, yeah!
The only way I would, like, I looking down, you can't do it. Anyway.
I would just be like, impulse, you know, like, let's go parachuting without a parachute.
Yeah.
You know how I walk across the logs randomly? Annabelle or Shami, if you're listening.
See, here's the thing, but then once you look down and start overthinking it, it's like, no. Nope.
I don't overthink, though. Like, I'm talking about, like, low sleep, high caffeine situation, and I watch someone else do it impulsively, and I'm like, cool, I'll join in, you didn't die. But if I had a lot of sleep, if I was very, like, introverted, so if I was with a bunch of people I didn't feel comfortable with, and I had no caffeine, so I was low energy, I would be like, there is no chance in this earth or any other that I would get in that water. I would watch every other person do it, and I'd just be standing there like, no, there's no chance. So it would depend on my mood. But with Fitz and Eldon in that moment, everything that happened that day, I'd be like, there's absolutely no way. You just created a hurricane, and there's no way I'm getting in your hurricane because I don't want to die. Thank you. I'm going back to my human family.
And I'm scared to death of the ocean in general. So like.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Scared of the ocean. Anyone else scared of the ocean?
It's like an actual thing though.
Yeah, I know. It's called like thalassophobia. I literally will get to my knees and start panicking. Kylie tried to drag me deeper. I was literally heart beating fast, like dizzy. It was bad.
That's how Karis is with dogs, and I am with spiders. And probably fire too, honestly, now. I
get made fun of.
I refuse to go near fire for like several months now. Huh. Okay, anyway. What are we talking about? Run to Amanda Probe. Okay, 80. If they use her DNA, like, because the first thing Quinlan does whenever Alden walks into Quinlan's office.
I think I'm two pages ahead of you. You know what? It's actually not the page size, it's the pictures.
Oh, so it makes it
because at this point there have been 3 pictures.
Page 80.
And I'm on page 83. It's the pictures. Okay, we just gotta count the pictures.
Alright. So on page 80, they use her DNA. Like, the first thing that they need your DNA. And then she watched her strands of DNA rotates. They have her DNA.
Yeah.
Why can't they analyze? Isn't that like a thing that humans can do? Like, we can analyze DNA and find your biological parents?
Hold on. Why do they need her DNA right here?
To test if she really was the one who matched the DNA strand that they had gotten from Prentice's mind. So if humans, tell me if this is a thing. You can get like your blood drawn or something and your DNA tested, and they can figure out like who you're related to. That's like a thing, right? Let me do a quick like half-second research, but I am 99.9% sure. Can you find your parents?
I mean,
from your DNA. I am pretty sure that like humans.
But I think you have to try.
If you wish to connect with your biological family or determine an unknown parent, consider taking an autosomal DNA test. I don't know how to pronounce it. Autosomal DNA tests can be taken by males or females and can provide you with DNA matches within 5 to 6 generations on both your biological mother and father's side of the family. If it was highly illegal for someone to participate in Project Moonlark, which it was, and if the council, which I don't know if Shannon just didn't think of this, or if she just was like, no, we won't do this. But if it was really illegal, the council would have been like, well, we need to find the elves who disobeyed and participated in Project Moonlark. And they would have at least checked, like, the nobility and counselors and stuff. And, like, we could have found probably both of her parents. Not getting into any sort of spoilers or anything that we know. But if they, like, thought a little bit about that, the counselors. Like, oh, wait a second, we have this DNA. We don't even have to find this person that may or may not exist. All we have to do is test a bunch of elves and see if they have a DNA match. And if they do, then we know, for one, if this person really exists, and for two, who broke the law and participated in this rebel group's project.
So, true, but I'm going to play devil's advocate because this is Shannon's story. She can do whatever she wants. There are tons of explanations for that. Like,
not for Bront being the way he is.
No, not for them not for that, but okay, say mess with her DNA somehow to where it wouldn't be matchable.
You can't say.
You
can't say.
Oh, you're right. Okay. So, I said something wrong that we had to take out.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, so say the Black Swan had made it to where they couldn't figure it out from her DNA. Somehow mess with it. It's elves, they can do whatever they want.
Right.
Also, I'm gonna say the DNA stuff is highly classified because isn't matchmaking super highly classified?
Pretty, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the possibility, but like,
even
that's
if it is
one thing.
Classified, they would have, I mean,
they
it's classified by the council, and the council would be the ones conducting the investigation.
They could have. Well, what else was I thinking?
They were also trying to pretend like it didn't exist. Like, this is all just an elaborate hoax. So, Bront could have just been like, this is a hoax. There's no reason to look into this. Shut it down. And so they just stopped investigating.
Oh, so you're saying, okay. Yeah, you're saying why didn't they do a DNA?
Why didn't they ever do a DNA test?
Not before they found her,
who was
but like,
breaking the law.
Yeah.
Just like even once they found her, like.
I mean, her DNA, this is kind of a spoiler thing, but I'm not gonna say specifics, has been messed with enough.
I mean, it has been messed with, but I feel like
we gotta stop talking though, because it's spoilers.
Yeah. Okay.
Shannon could explain that away though.
She could
easy,
and she didn't.
Yeah. Well, but it was never brought up.
I'm gonna mention Quinlan really quick. We used to think Quinlan was her dad, then we realized how much they look alike. That's a joke.
And that he had,
series.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. How much they look alike. Like he has different color skin.
There was another reason too, but we can't say that because it's a spoiler.
Page 90 for you would be, I don't know, maybe like 93.
Yeah, 93 for now.
I'm not. Yeah, I was pretty scared of Tyrgen at first. Like, not gonna lie. He appeared and he was just like, I will never help you, Alden. And I was like, oh, so we got another one of these. Bront, is this your friend? Like, I was really scared. And then he just, like, saw Sophie and he was like, oh, my precious little...
exiled and trade anyone in your family.
And I was like, oh, wow, Joy. Sophie, this is your teacher?
Yeah.
And then, he saw Sophie and he was like, oh, Sophie, you're such a sweet little child. And I was like, whoa, mood swing. And by the way, if we're making dad theories, I'm not ruling out Tyrgen.
I don't know why we ruled out Tyrgen.
The way
I'm so forgetful about what we said.
I'll mention it in the second half. But we had a reason. It wasn't a very good reason. But I'm not entirely sure we can.
Okay.
And we'll revisit it. Then 103. The three things that Sophie's like, wow, elves are so amazing. She goes, here it is. It's on page 103, yeah. She refused to accept that. Elves could travel on a beam of light and read emotions and probe minds. There had to be a way her family wouldn't suffer. She was like, they can light leap, they can telepath, and they can... I mean, the only empath she's heard of at this point is Orly, and it's not like that's the only special ability she's heard of, because she's already seen Vanishers, but she's just like, they can light leap, they can telepath, and they can Orly. And Alan's just like, well, that's her thoughts, but, you know, I just thought it was funny, because I really liked Orly already, and she'd just been introduced, and I was like, yes, she can Orly, or they can Orly.
I mean, at that point, though, she doesn't know what...
She knows about a Vanisher, that's the only other special ability she knows about. And then 104. Wait, that's a spoiler, Jaycie. Okay, hold on. Jaycie's gonna edit that. Okay. We're gonna talk about that later. It would be so hard because I was talking to my dad about this, and I was like, okay, but Sophie's a little bit dramatic about leaving the family. I mean, yeah, it's sad and all, but like it's a very drawn out scene. And my dad, this surprised me that he had this perspective because I was expecting him to be like, yeah, lol, she should have just left. But no, he was like, but imagine how hard it would be just to leave your family.
See, that's the thing. Kylie got so emotional when she first read that, my sister, when she first read that, and I was like, whatever, why are you emotional there?
Right.
But reading it back, especially hearing it over the audiobook, I was like...
Wait, like slowing it down, it's like...
Yeah.
She's
Because
12.
I think I was 12. I was just like, get to the magic.
Right.
And I was like back then you want to go to Narnia. You want to go to, like, you're just, worlds.
Right.
But now, reading that again.
The emotional side of stuff. It's like, whoa, okay, I can let it affect me.
Mm-hmm.
See, I also, whenever I was 12, I was like, I'm no wimp. I will never cry in a book. It's like, I would be, like, bragging, like, I have never cried or been emotionally moved by a book.
See, Abby also... Yep, I remember that. We, listening to the audio, like, Abby was so upset at that part, too.
Aww.
Like, I must just be cold. We must have just been cold.
I was.
Children.
I will say, whenever I was 12, I was cold.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care about any of these characters. I ain't gonna let them die. I'll just laugh as they suffer. That didn't last long. No, literally, like...
But my sister was, she was just like,
By the time I reread the series, I remember the first book that I cried at was Little Women, and it was an abridged edition.
I read it.
And you know the really sweet one that, like, dies. I mean, hopefully that's not a spoiler alert for Little Women, but, like, the sweet one dies.
Did I tell you we have to watch that movie together?
I want to watch it. Yes. But that was the first book that I fighting tears. I was like,
you gotta go. Wait. I just had my birthday. Wait. They won't know when this was recorded.
Oh, good point. Well, no, because we posted that we were recording.
No one will do that.
They will now.
They will now.
We're so bad at not spoiling or, like,
just when you cut it out, just cut out where I say my birthday.
And then leave in all the parts about us being bad at determining whether or not people are smart. These are theorizing people. They're going to be like, I can logically deduce that your birthday is exactly August the 2000th. So, anyway.
It's not August the 20th.
It's September the 2000th. We've caught you now.
May.
The -2.
Yeah. It's not May. I'm just throwing random ones.
We're just making stuff up now.
You. Okay.
Because it's totally going to work. Sorry, I was in the middle of... Right. No, I literally locked myself in the bathroom and sat there and was like, is this what people, like, normal people feel like when they read books?
Aww.
I'm gonna cry.
Man.
That was the first time I'd ever gotten emotional. And then...
Oh, no, I was pretty emotional.
I reread the series. And... You know, it broke me the second read through. Because the first time I had all emotion turned off, I was like, I like these characters, but I'm not too attached to them. But then I read to 4, I got all the character development, then I read again and, like, knew the characters more. And that's when book 3 broke me. And that's when it all began. Anyway, so the next note I have, we're getting close to maybe your note. I'm at, like, 100.
No, mine's actually 167.
Okay,
I was wrong. The first one is a spoiler.
Ellen acts just like my theater professor in real life.
That's funny.
Just like him. I have a specific quote that sounded, I was like, whoa. Because my professor was really hyper on Wednesday for some reason.
Make it fast, though, because they probably won't care about this.
It's really funny, though. He's just, like, extra, like a theater kid. What is it? He's like,
Ellen is a theater kid.
He said, of course. Did you think I was wearing these glasses because they make me look dashing? And I was like, why is that literally something you would say? But, then...
Ellen has a side job as an actor.
By the way, 120. Sophie pulled out her eyelashes. Now I have 2 pieces of Malamelt. And so we begin. 126. This is just a miniature thing.
Oh, do you want to see this illustration?
Aww. See, Fitz looks not as bad in that one. I mean, he still doesn't look like a picture, but he's not as bad. Then
I like these illustrations a lot.
Page 126. Yeah, I like them too.
Look at her shirt. It's ugly.
Is that the ugly shirt?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
Ugh.
Sophie, hun.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's so bad.
120.
So 24 for me now, I think.
Who is Bianna strode into the room in a fitted dress with intricate gold embroidery.
120?
6.
Oh, I'm way off. Okay, so 6 was 4 is 30.
130.
Got it.
Bianna strode into the room in a fitted dress with intricate gold embroidery that shimmered with every step. She looked way more glamorous than any 12-year-old had the right to look. Sophie, Della said, smiling at Sophie. Doesn't she look pretty today? There might have been things that were less embarrassing than that moment, but Sophie couldn't think of any, especially when Bianna shrugged and asked, isn't that the same dress she wore yesterday? I would have died. I would have been like, I am leaving as fast as I can and never coming back. I will not face this child again.
Because of how Bianna acted?
Yes. Just know that moment where it's like, doesn't she look pretty?
It's funny how Sophie's so intimidated by Bianna, but with Stina, she's just like...
She's like, that's what you think. Well, she's kind of scared at her at first, but then she's
at first, but it's pretty fast.
Yeah. 134, which for you would be like 138. Do they ever bring up tea again in the Elven world? See, Adeline's smiled, but sadness lingered in her eyes. I hope you can stay for tea, she told Alden. There's Malamelt.
I think there's types of tea.
I've never heard
without a spoiler. Doesn't someone in book 4 make...
Well, yeah. I don't mean like the drink tea. I mean the meal tea. Because Adeline's like, I hope you can stay for tea. Like in England, where they're like, it's tea time. That's like the refined Elven world thing, but like that's not really a thing anymore after this. I mean, it can be just because, things get tense and so everyone's really busy and stuff gets crazy, but like I want tea time in the Elven world. Like I want that to be a thing where everyone goes to tea.
I can see it.
Like they bring up balls,
Yeah, I could totally see that.
It's not a spoiler, but it's
or like
developed
at
later.
least when people come over, it's like time for tea.
Right, and I want to see a ball. I want
a winnowing gala.
I mean, that's just a ball for no reason, like Grady and Adeline used to do. Apparently.
Oh yeah, so cool.
I was talking in the spoiler section.
Jaycie, can we go sign up for some ball somewhere together?
Yes, of course. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would love.
I've done something like that before, but it was a fancy dance. Oh, yeah. Did you hear my stone girl?
I thought it was mine. Okay, sorry. 135. Grady.
So for me, 140.
It's just the next page. Because Grady's like, what ability do you have? He said, nothing nearly as fun. Trust me. And then he looked away. I'm like, Grady, it's not that bad. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Then 141, which I don't know how many pages ahead you are now.
I think that should be 146 for me. Okay.
Sophie nodded, scooting back a little when she saw the look in his eyes. Anger, confusion, and fear. She really, and I noticed this a couple of times, she, notices the emotion. She isn't just, he looked at her accusingly. It's, anger, confusion, fear. She names the emotions. Yeah, but that could be
his writing style.
It could, but I feel like that would mean at least that Shannon is an INFJ, but this just proves that Sophie's an INFJ.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I just thought it was really interesting. That's the and this brings in our Myers-Briggs thing again. We'll occasionally reference it. I'm sorry. It's just I'm proving it to myself still, but I love it. Yeah, definitely INFJ. 143 is my next one. Mysterium.
Oh wait, so
Mysterium's kind of pretty. Why? It's only brought up that I can remember specifically right here, and then whenever someone takes Sophie to it in book 2 for no particular reason in particular. But I brought it up in this episode. It's a cool city. I don't know. Yeah. And whenever they go to,
it's weird because it's not really talked about that much
ever. Yeah. And yeah, and then Adeline says their lives aren't lesser. I think this is Adeline. Yeah. Their lives aren't lesser. They have houses just as fine as Alden's are ours. But when they come to work, they come to a different type of city. A city designed for their kind of work.
Yeah, it's equal but not.
Not equal. Whenever you're oh, well, we're separate, but their kind of work. That's very, it's not
She's
equal.
their lives aren't lesser. It's just such a weird...
She's their lives aren't lesser. It's just theirs. And whenever they come to Mysterium again, the character who's with Sophie that I may have said, says the same thing. And even in that one, it's Sophie didn't really like the way that he said it.
Yeah.
It's
it's just interesting.
I don't know, guys.
There's also the whole... There's lots of things wrong with the Elven world.
Yeah.
Anyway.
145. Kessler scanned the sheet for half a second before his head snapped up. Sophie? His eyes found where Sophie was standing and his jaw fell slack. Did I miss something? He's did I miss something? He's when did you have a kid? And how is she already 15? But did I miss... How long have you guys been missing again? He's just counting on his fingers okay, she's been gone. She's been out of Elven society for 15 years. I guess she could have secretly raised a kid. I don't know.
Is that at the top of the page?
No, it's at the bottom for me. Even in this book, so it's not a spoiler. In this book, I was yes, Dex and Stina could be a thing. Even, like, he balded her and he was just laughing. She's like, I'll get you for this. It's like she towered above him. I was like, yeah. And then...
Look at them. Look at this illustration.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, I'm just going to advertise for the annotated edition. It's really cool.
It is. And then whenever... Oh, of course, the double last name thing for the Hex Log Nurse.
Do y'all want to hear Shannon's note?
Sure.
Okay, so it's where it says, Dex smiled, flashing deep dimples. I like Strange. And then Shannon's note says, I adore many things about Dex as a character, but one of my favorites is how easily he can appreciate someone's differences instead of being thrown by them.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Dex is sweet.
Okay, what page for you?
My next one is page 152.
Okay, for me, that's now going to be 6 pages ahead. Okay.
So 158.
Yep.
And it's
did we skip? Oh, no. Okay, we're close to my notes.
We're getting close to your note. Yours is 160 something.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Sophie had no idea. This is me verbatim. I'll explain in a second. Sophie had no idea what to do with Dex. She never had a friend before, much less a boy, much less an elf. Like 2 years ago, Sydney literally texted me the phrase, "Wait, have you ever like had a friend that was a male that was your age?" And I was like, "Wait, do fictional boys count?"
I have screenshots of her being like, "Well, there was this one guy I met like 3 years ago."
Okay. The only one I can think of at this point, well, yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about, but I, like, never talked to him. Because, like, I didn't know how to talk to boys my age. What?
They probably won't care about this.
Well, yeah, Sophie's same.
Mm-hmm.
And then 153, Sophie said, I hope there's no naked baby pictures in there.
Oh, yeah?
I was just like, why would that be something I'd be concerned about? Literally, specifically, like, oh, someone's looking through, like, scrapbooks or something. I'm just like, oh, dear. And then the next one I have is in chapter 17. So I guess, Sydney, your note... Oh, maybe not. Let's see. Oh, this is just kind of about Foxfire. I kind of missed that stuff.
What page?
Like,
Tell me.
it doesn't come in a lot. It's just vaguely this section. I don't have a page yet. My next note is on page 156. But I just kind of like the levels and the opening ceremonies. That stuff was cool. Like a cool world developing detail.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It's funny how Dex is like, I want to be a mastodon. I'm like, no, be a bird. That's much cooler than
a elephant thing.
Yeah.
156. What's school supplies? Because it's like, Sophie's still trying to figure out which of the strange gadgets from Della were school supplies when the chimes rang. Were school supplies ever brought up after that? I want to know.
They have lockers.
What strange gadgets are we looking at? What do you use for school supplies? Like, I mean, there's bottles and stuff.
Elementalism.
There's bottles and stuff, but those are there. I mean, you hear
not
about
necessarily. They
strange
have
gadgets.
Lockers.
What strange gadgets do you hear about?
Elementalism. Oh, and alchemy.
What strange gadgets do you hear about, though?
I don't know. If you
had to pick a subject to use them in, yeah. Elementalism and alchemy, but...
I mean, you never know what they're doing.
True.
Especially elementalism, the bottles and things like that. I can see them being really weird things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
And Shannon is good at little details, so I feel like there's
164. I'm just gonna randomly say, Lady Alexine. She's brought up like 17 times in this book, and I didn't even know that. Your turn.
Okay, I wonder if she's important because her name means something to do with humans. Yeah, it means, yeah. Look it up while I say this.
Alright, go ahead.
No, actually, I'm gonna wait for you to look it up.
Alright. Alexine meaning. Alexine means defender of mankind, helper, defender. Well, she does defend Sophie. Like, the first time she comes in, it's like...
Oh, that's true.
164, let's see. She's like... Sophie's just there, and Stina grabs Dex by his shirt. You little... That's quite enough, Miss Hex. A slender woman in a deep blue gown and cape ordered as she stepped through the wall and pulled them apart. What's going on here? And what on earth is that smell? She put a musk on my locker.
Mankind.
Well, that's Dex, actually.
Huh?
I said it's Dex, actually. And I mean, I doubt there's very many names that mean defender of elven kind.
Well, yeah, but I think it's suspicious that her name is Lady Alexine, and it specifically means defender of humans, basically.
I mean, that's fair, yeah.
Wait, is she a phaser?
Yeah, she's a...
Oh, I forgot that is a guy.
Spoiler!
And we know... Oh!
I was just sitting here waiting for it to come.
Just leave out the name.
Alright. Continue. What's your note?
Yeah, that's just suspicious to me. Ever since I found that out. Mm-hmm. Thank you for listening to the Forbidden Cities podcast. Leave us a review and tell a friend about the podcast if you liked us. Email us with comments and episode suggestions at theforbiddencitiespodcast@gmail.com. And to follow us on Instagram, just search @Forbidden Cities Podcast.